Perfect.
Awesome. I'm just going to share the spaces, guys. If you want to go down to the bottom of the spaces on the right hand side, and you can just press the little plus button. You can share the spaces. Let's get some people in here.
Awesome. What's going on, Loco? There you go, Loco. Should be able to speak now.
What's up, Meta? How you doing? What's up, TJ? What's up, Crypto?
How are we doing, mate? How are we doing?
Good.
How's it going, mate?
Excellent.
Awesome.
If you go to the settings on the spaces, you can put it so anybody can request.
I think it's so anyone can request.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
So what? Just kind of set the room. What we're going to be doing is a bit of a show about crypto news updates, some coins that you've been keeping an eye on. What has come across your plate over the last couple of weeks? Would you say, Meta?
Yeah, I think we're going to be going over kind of the general market. We can go over some global monetary policy, real estate, how it affects Bitcoin and crypto and the market in general. I want to hear from other people and their experience and what they see happening in the market and where we all think it's heading. And then I also want to get into some, pre-sales, some other smaller coins that may be launching, and host some AMAs with some cool projects.
Awesome, man! Can't wait for it.
Yeah, so we got one today with Pump. They're going to be giving away a couple whitelist spots, which will be great for the community in here. And they're going to be doing a live AMA. They got a cool project, and they're going to be launching on Moonforce Launchpad.
Amazing stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
So they've got when's their launch coming up? Do you know the dates?
I don't know exactly. It's sometime soon, before the end of the month.
Awesome.
But right now they're doing their private sale rounds and AMAs and just starting to build up their community. They got a real neat project going on. So real, honored to have them speaking with us here today and to learn about their cool project.
No, 100%. It's always good to get into these things early as well.
Oh, definitely. It's it's arguably the best time, before it launches on the market.
I can only agree, mate. And as we said, this will be some educational side of things into these shows as well, for people who are new into crypto, coins, pre-sales, IDOs, a range of different things.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I guess we might as well just kick off a little bit of the overall market. We can get a feel for it. My view on it is we've pretty much lost the 55, or no, we've lost the 20, and we're going down to the 55. It looks like those are the EMA on the monthly time frames. So typically, whenever you lose the 20, you kind of come down to the 55. That's what we've seen in the past in history, and then usually after that, it will start to head back up. So that's just what we've normally seen. So we'll see if it continues to follow that trend. Of course, everyone had their crazy predictions last year, and pretty much none of them came true. So I think in this market, the more I've learned about crypto, it's kind of like you got to adjust as you go. So the more information you get, the more the market changes, the more people kind of adjust their opinions on what's happening in the market.
Kind of like our weatherman.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And just to confirm, mate, people that don't know, EMA stands for exponential moving average, isn't it, over the trade?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Some people think that this 30K was kind of our target. Which if you look at the bear pendant, this big range bear pendant we had formed and been trading in like the last few months almost. We kind of hit our target right at 30K. So what could happen is we could even just start to form a bull pendant that'll bring us down maybe to 25K and then start to head back up, or we could even, if we start hitting our head on the 55 and start closing below it, and start running into it as resistance, we could see a downturn even more. I don't particularly see that scenario. I think I'm overall bullish on Bitcoin, and I personally think we're in a corrective phase of a bull market. We haven't quite hit that bear market, but what do you guys think?
Hey, as we spoke about earlier on today, just in our brief conversation, look, I think this could be a great entry point to get into Bitcoin. I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, as we mentioned, but look, it's come down. We've seen it at much higher peaks before, so that's just my 2 cents in it. What do you think, Loco?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good entry points right now for sure. Ethereum's looking good to dip in right now. What did Ape just go down to? Ape's down at like 950 right now or something. I mean, there's a lot of the market's not going to be going anywhere for sure, and the dip it could dip down even more. But you know what it's going to do eventually? It's going to be going back up. So I mean, I'm not really worried about it myself.
Yeah, I think we all kind of know where the crypto overall market's going to head to eventually. As far as getting into the space now, I think, one of the best practices I like to use is if you're trading on some of these bigger coins that are dependent on Bitcoin, is like a dollar cost average strategy. Have a couple different areas on the way down that you can be like, okay, I'll put some in here and, put some in at 30K. And if it goes down to 20K, you can put some there and then 15 and so on, and have about, 3 to 5 different entry points. And then when you trade that way, it's almost like you get excited. You get excited if it goes up because you're making your money, but then also you get a little bit excited if you go down because you got a little extra bag you can put in if it goes a little lower.
Nice, and again, that would be spreading your risk across, won't it? So, yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to trade. But yeah, like I said, my favorite personal strategy is pre-sales, getting into ICOs and on whitelists, and I think it's really cool when you find some good projects and you can get into their pre-sales and their private sales, and become a part of another community, grow your sphere a little bit, and that's what I mostly like to focus on.
Yeah, as I think we had a conversation earlier on, you mentioned that a few. That's kind of what you're doing now full time, which is absolutely amazing. And you brought up the team from Pump as well, haven't you, to come and talk about their project?
Yeah, we got Pump here, so really excited to hear about their project. Like I said, they're launching on Moonforce. In case you didn't hear it earlier, and Moonforce is an IDO launch pad. So they'll be launching Pump, and let's I think we can get Pump up here and let's have them talk a little bit about their project and open it up for them a little bit.
Yeah, hey, sure, thank you. My name isn't actually the squiggly P you see. I'm Mike. I'm one of the founders. Hi, nice to meet you guys. First of all, I want to say thank you for hosting us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome, pleasure to have you.
Coming along.
Thank you. I am the head of marketing over at XSurge DeFi. And I am also the XUSD liaison for the Pump project, as well as one of the founders. And I'm joined by one of our partners here, a very integral member of our community, Crypto Carney, if you want to say hi.
Hey guys, how are you? Does it say Crypto Carney? Does it say Carney Crypto? I think I was dyslexic when I created the username back in the day.
All I see is crypto.
Okay, all I see is crypto.
I've got
first name crypto with a K.
K.
Yeah, I'm the community manager, former head VC mod for the Dev Team 6 platforms, mostly Moonforce. I was there from launch and worked with their community heavily. It started by just being having the intent of bringing a project forward and working with them a little more integrally, I was getting more information than the majority of the community was. And since I was spending so much time trying to study what we were going to do and how the platform was going to work, I ended up just becoming a really, I guess, informed in what they were doing, which really helped us be able to get the project forward. And then moving into our community, their community has been real supportive of us, being that we were the first announced project to launch when the day their launchpad went. And yeah, we're here to have a ton of fun, pump the market. It's a fun name and a great logo, but you're going to hear in a little bit here that it's got some serious technology behind it.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
glad to
funny.
hear about it.
Yeah, it's funny you guys are talking about the bear market, which we're clearly in, or you could also construe it as a correction in a bull market. But what I'm going to tell you is pretty exciting. So I have been involved with XUSD since the beginning. This was a token developed and created by DeFi Mark. He's pretty famous in the space. He originally worked on SafeMoon and then went over and started his own thing at xsurge.net. He's written hundreds of contracts. Every single contract on the XUSD ecosystem, it has been audited. Just really, really good stuff. And when you talk about a bear market and you talk about watching it go down and DCAing and all that other stuff that you have to do when you have a long-term vision, that's where XUSD is quite possibly the most brilliant innovation ever developed in the space, because the price cannot go down. Buys, sells, and transfers all raise the price of XUSD. I was there for the rollout of the V1 XUSD launch, which buys, sells, and transfers rose the price. But then we came out with V2 that has a bunch of utilitarian features that cause the price to rise even without volume. It takes advantage of crypto volatility. So where does all this lead? Well, I'm looking at XUSD, and I'm looking at the fact that it launched about 6 months ago. It started off at $1. It's now at $1.18 and some change. So it's up 18% in about 6 months, with many of the utilities not even released yet. And I said, wow, wouldn't this be a great asset to back a project with? You know, a lot of these tokens come out, and they come out in the BSC space, and what are they backed by? They're pegged to BNB. Well, BNB is just as likely to bring you into the toilet as it is to help take you to the moon. What if you backed your project by an ever appreciating asset that cannot go down in price? You know, BUSD is a little bit of a better help. It's a little more stable, but BUSD doesn't go up. So I said, I want to make a project where we can put half, maybe 3/4 of the liquidity pool in XUSD and have that back the project. And I can get into a bunch more about XUSD, but if anybody wants to add anything or have any questions at this point, I'm happy to answer them.
Hey, so XUSD is basically a deflationary stablecoin, something like that?
Actually, no, sir. It is not deflationary. It has a elastic supply. So when XUSD comes out, there is no dev wallet, no team tokens, no special allocations. They are minted when they're bought, and they're destroyed when they're sold. Now, the cool thing about XUSD is it was the first token to ever have an internal liquidity pool. The liquidity pool is not external, it's embedded within the contract. So every time the token is transacted, a little bit more of the underlying BUSD is left behind. So a perfect example is if you have 100 people that buy XUSD and then 99 people sell, the last person standing will not only get their full value, but will also walk out with the best price, because XUSD has 130 to 140% liquidity backing.
That's interesting. I've definitely never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah, it is mind-bending. It is mind-numbing. And some of these guys that I've been working with at Pump still come to me for questions about XUSD, because it is a unique concept to get your head around. Now, that said, because the LP is internal, we created a second liquidity pool with BNB. So if you go to CoinMarketCap and look at XUSD, and I wish I had a little whiteboard here I could show you, But you will see that that price goes up and down, as it should, because it goes up and down with the price of BNB. What we do with that pool is we arbitrage it to make the price in the BNB pool as close as possible to the internal price. If I showed you a price of the XUSD chart, and you can get that by going to xsurge.net and looking up assets and finding XUSD, you'll see the price can only go up. But the second liquidity pool enables you to see the chart. So you might be saying, well, why don't you just put 100% of the LP in XUSD? Why even have the two pools? Well, the reason is to get charting, because everybody likes to go to PooCoin and PancakeSwap and look at their charts. And the other is for arbitrage, which I'll get into in a little bit.
Okay, yeah, this might be a little over, especially some of the newbies' heads in here, but I think we're following you for the most part.
Oh, it's a simple token. The technology is difficult. That's not difficult, but complicated, complex, and unique. So pump itself, it just pumps. we the idea to use it as a backing asset was there at the inception, and after looking at it for long enough, we realized, well, this not only is going to become a technology demonstrator, but it's a great opportunity for us to be able to correct something in the market, which is lack of backing from the intellectual assets. A lot of projects have a hard time being able to, get launched. They're missing a dev, they're missing a marketing guy, they're missing some component. And we, as our utility, the pump starter, are here to be able to help with our collective intelligence projects, businesses, other things, jump on new trends or opportunities, because we'll have not only the funds with our pump starter treasury, but we also have that collective intelligence and groups of many people in various fields that can also help the projects as a community to go forward. So pump is a very simple token: buy it, sell it, trade it, sniff it, makes a great stocking stuffer, give it to friends, whatever you want. Every time you move it, because of the arbitrage and because of what's happening with the XUSD, it can benefit the token no matter what. So it's a fun token for the BSC space. You can day trade it, you can hold it either way. We're going to reward you in your XUSD, and that is a sleep well at night reward, because it does nothing but go up. So the technology behind the arbitrage bot, the pump bot, the liquidity pools, the internal liquidity, all that stuff is for the techie inside you. But for those of you that just are, love the space, you love crypto, you want to become a millionaire, you just want to learn how to day trade, well, that's what pump token really is for on the front end. And that's the simple part of the project.
Okay, very cool. Now, could you guys get into a little more of your project and exactly what it is you do and what you help with?
Yeah, absolutely. As Crypto Carney touched on, Pump is a very simple token to understand on a surface level. The taxes are 12% in and out and to transfer, but 6% of that, half of the taxes, goes back to you in the form of XUSD rewards. Now, why do you care? Well, the reason you care is because you are getting rewarded in an asset that cannot go down in price. So as you check your accumulation of rewards, you'll see that not only are you getting more XUSD rewards the longer you hold Pump, but those values never decrease. You can look at your wallet every day and see the value of your rewards increasing, which we think is kind of fun and also quite useful for a long-term hold. XUSD can be held safely for as long as you want because you could sleep at night with it. You don't have to worry about the price ever going down. Now, to answer your question more specifically, the utility, we did something different. Instead of focusing on the utility for Pump, the token, our utility rests in the backing asset that is XUSD. I spend half of my time between Pump and XUSD, and XUSD is innovating the technology and the use cases. I'm just going to run down a list. These are some of the utilities that XUSD has. And remember, when all of these utilities are utilized, it helps bump up XUSD's price. It has a treasury, and the treasury every 2 days does a buy and burn of XUSD. from the treasury profits, a portion of the treasury profits. That's a utility, no volume required. Their mine is going to be coming out in just a few days, I think Friday. So the mine allows you to take the underlying stable coins of your XUSD and buy any crypto you want. So if you want to use your underlying BUSD to buy Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin. The benefits of that mine are that you will not only get the XUSD price appreciation, but you get the Bitcoin price appreciation. And a portion of those profits go to the treasury, which eventually goes to buying and burning XUSD. We have a flash loan provider, our own flash loan provider, charges a fee, goes back to the treasury. A stablecoin swap, there's going to be a governance token. There's going to be an NFT line. There's going to be lending. So when you talk about, and you ask the very valid question, well, what is the real world use case for Pump? We embedded the use cases in the backing asset because XUSD, as good as it is, it can't 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x quickly the way a lot of people want to see when they invest in a BSC project.
So it just pumps, like I keep saying, without the actual utility of on the other end. So we were looking at it and going, okay, well we built this in a way that, again, with little to no volume, it can still increase our price floor, and we can generate revenue back to the holders, because of our treasury is also going to be stored in XUSD. Our rewards are stored in XUSD. Our liquidity is in XUSD. So we have this money. Well, what are we going to do with it? As I had mentioned, we have our pump starter. Now, again, the pump starter is going to be a communal idea using our collective intelligence. As soon as we launch, we're immediately going to work on voting systems and voting platform for submissions. We currently have in the pipe, I would count, I think we're at 4 projects that already want our assistance going through the path of getting to the launch process and doing the marketing and handling AMAs, how to book them, how to manage the PiSwap 2.0 routers over at PiSwap, how the Moonforce platform integrates, how it works, their KYC process, their audits. All of these things that, again, somebody with a white paper and a web page and a great idea that's going to be amazing and possibly change the world. It could be the next XUSD. They don't necessarily have all the tools and resources to get there. So with the pump starter, what we decided was, well, let's let the people have an opportunity to be able to help each other get ahead. And that's primarily what it is in a nutshell.
Well, I think that is amazing and much needed in the space. I really like the XUSD as your backing asset, and that kind of sounds revolutionary, to be honest. I mean, it sounds like a lot of projects would do a lot better if they weren't backed by, like, BNB and things like that can go up and down in value.
Part of the pump starters, I guess, sermon or preach and mantra is going to be, as we're assisting other projects, it would make the most sense for them to also follow and do the same, because it just makes sense. So, but as we bring more projects on and as adoption starts to grow, as including the potential for going across 11 chains in the next 8 months, every time that we bring another group on and another project decides to go along with XUSD as their backing asset and utilize the arbitrage bot the same way that we will, that's continuing to grow the price of XUSD. We only announced about a week ago the project itself, a week and a bit, and since then XUSD has gone up over a penny just on the additional work that we've brought in to be able to bring attention to it. And that's before we've even launched or even done our purchasing of it and started our arbitrage bots on it. So it's going to become exponential over time. And if you're getting in now, as I heard you guys earlier in the conversation about getting into whitelist opportunities, getting into pre-sales, well, getting that XUSD now at this price, keep in mind, the moment you get your first reward and the moment we buy our LP, that is the lowest price that XUSD will ever be. It's only going to go up.
Yeah, right. That's a cool thing. Look at it that way with XUSD. It's not always at an all-time high, but it's also at the lowest price you'll ever be able to buy it for. And isn't that a brain twister?
First I've heard of, which is is as Matt said, it's pretty innovating what you guys are doing. It's really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see this over the next couple of years and see where it goes.
Yeah, and to just get back a step back to one of the core problems in the BSC space, and I know not everybody is part of the BSC space. I'm hoping or assuming that at least some of you are. These tokens, what kills them for the most part? What kills them? What kills them eventually is lack of volume, because these tokens, a lot of them are very volume dependent. They have to have volume or they die. What XUSD gives Pump the ability to do is to raise the price of Pump, even if it's a quiet volume period and there aren't many buys, sells, or transfers. That is a key component to the longevity of Pump, because you need to be able to still have good chart movement even when there's no volume, and you can't be totally reliant on volume, which we're not. So that goes hand in hand with the use cases for the actual token, because it doesn't require volume. And one other thing I want to touch on really quickly, when Pump launches, we're debating between 2 and 3 liquidity pools. It might just be 2. Well, why are we setting up 2 liquidity pools? The first is, of course, people want to see charts, so you're going to have your charts. You're going to be able to look at the Pump BNB, and you're going to be able to look at the chart. The second reason is arbitrage. Arbitrage is making a lot of people a lot of money all the time. So arbitrage traders are going to come in and try to arbitrage the 2 different pools. They do it across the entire space, across chains, every minute of every day. So what Xsurge has done is they've created the service. It's a funny little acronym. It's ASS, and it stands for Arbitration as a Service. So what that does is, by fee exempting their contract, the ASS contract, they will be able to arbitrage our pools for us, and they send 90% of the profits back to us. So nobody is going to profit off of arbing our pools except for us, which again is another great thing to have, because we'll profit off of market volatility. You know, BNB is a roller coaster ride. Our arbitrage bot is going to go nuts arbing the 2 pools.
Sorry, it's just every time I hear it, and we named the token Pump, and yeah, it's the ass pump.
Ass pump.
Say arse pump.
Yeah. If this was a different kind of spaces, we'd go in all different directions with that one.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But it just helps us. It's another feature that allows for the token to follow through with its name. You know, everywhere that you look, like we've said, the utility is the function as a technology demonstrator, first of its kind, and then add the Pump starter to it, and the more that we are able to assist people get them set up with the same scenario, and as we do as projects come aboard, that continues to raise the backing asset for the project in general. And being first in, you know how that works. You clearly got the advantage overall over the long term.
Now, are you guys going to be crossing into like the Ethereum space and other places like that?
Yes, one of the reasons that we chose to go with Swap, or with the Swap 2.0, DT6, PiSwap, and Moonforce, is that their roadmap puts them that launchpad and the swap integrated with up to 11 chains, I believe. They're talking like October, November, they're hoping. And so as they go forward, we intend to go forward. Now, the first one is going to be Ethereum, but the Ethereum, Mike can tell you, is the tougher one. But, you know, with support of Pump and, you know, us showing the proof of it, and the more people that come along to assist by pairing their liquidity, the faster we can get there. But if you want to tell them why Ethereum is probably not our first jump.
Yeah, sure, Carney. So XUSD is a very, very modular contract. The actual XUSD token itself is up to something like 50 something contracts, because the way that DeFi Mark writes them, they're very modular. It's not a whole bunch of lumped up code in one big bloated contract. It's very, very modular, and that helps in efficiency, it helps in gas fees, and it makes it very adaptable to whatever's going on. Well, since XUSD has no developer tokens, no developer wallet, funds is tough to come by. And to launch XUSD on Ethereum would cost well over $100,000 because of all the contracts. It's not cheap. So the first chain we're looking to expand to is probably Kronos, because Kronos is very reasonable in their fee structure. But, make no mistake about it, this treasury is paying XSurge too, the XUSD treasury. It's paying XSurge too. And as adoption continues, we're going to eventually have money to expand to wherever we want. But if I were to guess the first place pump would go from BSC, it would probably be Kronos.
Oh, can I get you to unmute another member of our team who's just joined us? His name's Crypto King.
Just added him in now.
Yep, should be good to go.
Hey, King.
Hey,
King, what's
how
up,
you
man?
guys doing?
Good to have you, buddy.
We're pumped.
We've covered most of the good stuff. You're here for the real questions, hopefully coming up. We've been just covering the project, so we want to see if we get to that point where we get the crickets, or if everybody's still flabbergasted, got the jaw dropped, or if we got some questions coming.
Well, I hope you got a little better with the strategy this time, because the last AMAs, people were complaining because we were giving them too much. So hope you dial back on that area and slowly roll the rich part out there, Carney and Mike. Just slowly roll that out there, all right?
It's so hard because there's so much with XUSD. I'm going to tell you guys, TJ and Meta, I'm going to tell you, we've done so many AMAs now, and we've gotten really good traction. I mean, we sold out our private in a little bit more than 24 hours. We're continuing to raise money. People are coming in every day and excited. But when we do these AMAs, for some odd reason, there's never a lot of questions. And that's one of two reasons. Either we did a really good job of explaining everything, or people are confused as all hell. So we're not quite sure which one it is, but it might be, I'm hoping it's one of those two.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, do you guys have anything more to add before we open it up for questions?
No, I'm good. If King has anything, he just got here, if he wants to add something in.
No, I know you guys pretty much wrapped it up. Like the ones that are on here, like we said, we've been doing a couple of AMAs. We've getting better on the road. We've been learning a lot of in and outs, and we want to share that information with the community. But all jokes aside, we've been having a lot of fun, and accidentally just continuously finding ways to make more money is absolutely insane with the collective intelligence. But this project, what I love about it, what we're doing is we're not just talking about these things. We're actually doing that, and this is something that we're going to get the gears rolling as community driven. It's like a family. We all of us talk daily. Everybody specializes in their areas. We all have a voice to each area we specialize in. The team is constantly growing. They actually added Jeremiah West, so a couple of you are familiar with, to this. So a lot of information, a lot of great energy, and anyone that wants to be a part of this, I urge you to do so. Like I say, the whitelist spots are filling up fast. We got a lunch coming with Moonforce also. So it's a lot of great things in the mix. And I'm not sure they told you, but I know when they said it, you're wrapping your head around it. But it is a lot to take in. But they basically designed a beast. And, Mike brought the rest of the team on, me, Carney, and Wes. We couldn't wrap our eyes around it. As we're speaking on the AMAs, we're hearing more, and we're engaged also. So, guys, please open up with questions about what's going on, because you have a community that's growing quite fast. We're going with you guys. Get engaged and ask questions. There's no wrong answer really with Pomp. That's what this is about, bringing everybody together.
And just before we do that, we did forget to mention, since it's slightly more impromptu than our normal AMAs. We do have our additional members of the team which are available to join us. There are fiscal responsibility management team. We have Tones and Cedar, who come from a background in crypto and finance, which keeps us on point, accountable, and make sure that the community sees exactly what we're doing from a transparency perspective. As much as we say we've been doing a lot of these AMAs, every time we go to apply for one, we have a pretty long list that we have to explain and justify before we get into it. So yeah, we're here as a full team where there's everybody has their lane and capability, and we include that with the financial aspect as well. It's very important, especially in this space, to make sure that you're counting those pennies wherever you can, or satoshis, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, and while Carney's wrapping up, I just want to tell you guys, a lot of you didn't hear my introduction, but like I said, I've been in crypto for a couple of years. I engage in these projects, but we're really here to, all jokes aside, to set a standard. Like, there's so much going on in the crypto space, and it's like nobody has a voice. Or this gives you a voice, and it gives you the treasury, it gives you the bank to do so. That's what this is about. We're creating ways to make money, generate greatly utilities. We found ways, like Mike was talking about, XUSD. It makes money with no volume. Like, it's just endless ways, and you're backed by that asset. Like, look at the market dip last couple of days, where your project will still be able to focus on what it does when you're backed asset that's ever increasing. He's very humble about XUSD, but XUSD, I believe it'll be one of the top. It is a top performer, but I believe it'll be recognized very soon for what it does increasing. So with that increasing, you also have pump increasing. And I don't know, some of you checked out the graphics. They were talking about what you get on your rewards based off of that. But if you look to the bottom right, it talks about a 1 million market cap with pump. That just blew my mind. I called Carney like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, the predictions we've been giving everybody to make them rich are off of a 1 million market cap. He's like, yeah, we just say yeah now. So I just wanted to share that. Like, we're not just hyping you up. We're giving you facts. We're giving you a chance to be a part of a community, the collective intelligence, to actually change this crypto space for the better and real utility. Now, let's not just say we're going to create utility. Well, they've done that. Now we're going to put that utility to use.
Well said, sir.
Yeah, very well said. And guys, I guess we'll open up the floor now. So if anyone has any questions at all, you don't understand what they were saying at any piece, feel free to speak up. Don't worry. I'm sure there's a couple of us that don't fully understand everything that's going on, but I think we, for the most part, understand the concept. So if anyone has any questions, raise your hand. We'll bring you up here.
We are so used to this, it's not even funny.
Cricket.
I've got a question, guys, just to jump in. I know you said you were looking at coming on to some of the other change in the future, like ETH and things. You're putting it back because of the expenses. Do you have a kind of timeline of when you might look into some of these other change, or what your expectations may be?
At this point, we're sort of beholden to the swap. Because again, we're going to have a PancakeSwap pool, which with a small pool, but the primary pool is on PiSwap. So
Nice.
as their roadmap moves forward into the chains, we're simply going to follow along. By going
Makes sense.
by launching with Moonforce, we actually become a partner. We're a Moonforce certified partner, in that we get to utilize their War Room technology. They have a marketing pixel that's being released for laser pointed accuracy of dollar spend on click advertising and banner ads through like Coinzilla, et cetera, as well as through influencers. So as that stuff starts to roll out and as their roadmap fulfills, because they're still fairly new project as well, we are just going to tag along with them as we go.
Nice, interesting, nice way to do it as well.
So what has to align? What are the prices and things like that have to look like for you to go over to ETH?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, no, I don't think the price of ETH itself is a factor. I think it's the cost of deploying all the contracts. You're looking at probably anywhere between 100 to 130,000 to deploy the contracts. I'm hopeful in the next couple of years that kind of spend will be cheap for XSurge because of the performance of XUSD and the revenue that it's able to generate. But that's the biggest prohibiting factor. It's the cost to deploy all the contracts because XUSD is so modular.
And remember, XUSD is immutable and autonomous. It's not like there's a bunch of holders and project tokens out there, all that. It's a stable coin that was released by Xsurge and DeFi Mark into the world for us all to enjoy. So it's not like it has its own intended project or a marketing budget and marketing tokens that it can go and spend to be able to move it forward. It literally has to be brought through by either the projects that are backing it to utilize it to help it to get to those chains, or Xsurge's revenues through its utility of using XUSD in the market and having other people go ahead and do that. So there's a certain period where the funds have to be in existence to be able to cover those costs to move a community project like XUSD across chains.
And I would like to speak on that also, because I heard you guys talk about those that are curious about chains in the future. That's what Pump is for. I want you to focus first on utility, and then we will have those funds. A lot of people think when you go to another chain that it also increases volume. Well, yeah, to a sense, but if you have no actual utility, if you're not using that, it's just going to stand there. And this is coming from somebody who's experienced. I've used several dApps, several programs that have launched on 5 chains. And the volume really wasn't significant, but where the volume began to increase, I'll use Everrise for an example, was once they started using dApps, they started generating usage. So what we want to do, use our collective intelligence, continue to develop, continue to figure out ways to increase it going. Like you said, we don't need volume, but we want to utilize all the utility functions, get it down packed here. We have low fees here, we're still gaining money. And then once we do that, set a standard for the future projects on the future chains and says, look what you're doing over here, Ethereum. Yeah, your fees are high, but while you're waiting, you're still generating money. And then you could do this on other chains, but I want you guys to just change. It's not that it's out of the ballpark. I want you to understand that we're building something great that works now. And as we go ahead to the future, then those others. But if you don't have utilities, I'm telling you, I'm in projects that have launched on several chains. There will be no difference. Let's continue to focus on utility, generate the money, and then go there. Carney made a great point. You can talk about another chain, but if you don't have the funds and then you go over to another chain, it's not going to do you any good. So that utility aspect of us being at such a low market cap. And then another thing I'll give you guys a hint, when you start talking about other chains, even possible exchanges, they have to buy XUSD. And that right there is very promising for us all. So I just wanted to share that.
I love it. Hey, all right. So I got another question. When's launch? When's the Moonforce launch happening? And then when do you guys go public?
Our public pre-sale is scheduled for May 14th, this Saturday. Our whitelist right now, though, is open for application. If you, I don't know if can we drop in this Twitter Spaces? Can we drop a link for that? I don't know. But if you join us on our Telegram group, which is our primary form of communication at this time, we probably have a link for the whitelist application in our Twitter as well, I believe. I don't know, Mike, if we have that tweet. You can feel free to apply. We're almost full. We had 100 BNB that were allowed for whitelist spot, 0.25 minimum and 0.3 max. And yeah, the application is there and exists. So if you guys want to get in, there's only like 40 BNB left, I think, to fill. Of the 100. So we could plan that's going to be done. Then on Saturday, when we go public pre-sale, we're opening ourselves up to the Moonforce tiers. If you're familiar with Moonforce at all, they have 5 tiers from Commander all the way down to Engineer. And their commanders are whitelisted automatically, and the other tiers get access to it before launch. Once that public pre is filled, we then have the time to look at everything, make sure it's all set up, make sure it's it's good to go. All of our security measures, anti-bot measures, and everything are there, and then we can simply push the liquidity over to PiSwap and open up the doors for the public to start enjoying the pump.
Awesome. So for those that are interested, I'll leave a link. I don't know. I'm not sure how to link it in the Twitter space. I'll have to learn how to do that. But I'll leave a link on my Twitter right after this so people can get to it, or you guys can go follow Pump.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
I get it pinned up on here if it's on your.
Yeah, we have, like I said, we have some interesting things coming out of the pipe right after launch. We want to just focus on the fact that Pump as standalone by itself, by it being backed by XUSD and the utility first, mechanisms that we've put in place as the technology demonstrator for this type of a scenario works on its own. We're going to start playing with some of that cool fun ideas that the collective intelligence is coming up, including lottery, including partner projects, assisting them, pairing their LP. Like there's a lot coming post-launch to continue the train of where we're going. The marketing is going to be ongoing and forever. If you've spent any time with us or even just heard us today, we believe in the project, and because it's such a simple token, the work that we're going to put in is towards marketing to make sure that we continue to beat the pump drum and make sure everybody gets to hear about it going forward. So the buy pressure and the value for the pre-sale and the whitelist at this time is extensive. It's massive value.
Awesome. Well, I definitely see the massive value you guys are bringing to the table, especially with this XUSD. This is incredible. I think it's great to hear from projects who are making new waves.
Sorry, could you unmute Jeremiah? I apologize. What was the username for him?
He is unmuted. I think he is unmuted. He's got to unmute himself.
Oh yes, I'm unmuted. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing well. So I had just a couple things to say, and then I figured I would try to break the ice a little bit because a few people came into the chat room that I know, and one of them DM'd me a question. He's really excited about the project. He said, you mentioned that you have a few projects onboarding with you. Are they all on the BNB chain, or are they going to be on another chain?
At this stage, yes, it's all because we're focused on BNB or BSC space. At this time, we wouldn't even be entertaining other ones. And to be honest, again, we only announced the existence of the project. We've been working on it for 3-4 months. Long slog in getting us deployed into the Moonforce environment, and a lot of the projects that are coming towards us have an interest in doing the same path and follow what we did by pairing their liquidity, having the arbitrage bots, and our knowledge and the process we essentially helped design for Moonforce by getting a project out is of interest for that alpha to help them make it a little easier.
Okay. And the only thing I wanted to say is that I'm absolutely excited about this project. Someone mentioned earlier that it's a revolutionary idea. It absolutely is that. I've spoken to developers, and the first thing they think is it's like a light bulb goes off, and it's like, why don't we have a utility on the back end, which is an appreciating asset? Why don't we have, and the reason why is because they don't have XUSD as their backing asset. And as you mentioned earlier, Meta, one of the problems we have in BNB is that, okay, look, the price is going down. That's a problem we're seeing in the BNB space. Then the altcoins are going down if the native coin is going down. Or when you pair it with XUSD, the price is going to be at the highest price, or it's going to be accruing in value. That's a brilliant idea. And the way it functions on the buys and the sells, it's a brilliant idea. And when projects catch wind of that, like Maurice was saying earlier, Crypto King, all the projects that join Pump and that get launched through the Pump token, they're going to have to buy XUSD. So just imagine how much that's going to increase in value over time. So if you're in this room, if you have questions, please ask questions, because you're in early during whitelisting. We're about to start pre-sales in a project that only has 100 million tokens. That's a small circulating supply. You're getting in early, and this is really going to reach mass adoption. I strongly believe that. So thank you for letting me come up here and say that. And if you have any questions, just feel free to request, and we'll answer them.
Hey, thanks, Jeremiah. That was great. Yeah, I firmly believe, and you can say you heard it here first, that XUSD is going to eventually be a top 10 coin. There is just no way. It's like a tiny little snowball right now that just started its descent down the hill. The thing's going to grow into a giant. It's going to be the premier backing asset probably in all of BSC in short time. I have no doubt about that. The adoption is happening very quickly, which is very special for our pump holders, because since the backing asset is an XUSD and since it's 50, perhaps 75%, Pump is going to benefit from every project that comes after it to pair liquidity, because we are going to have gotten in at the lowest price. So if you fast forward 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, what's that going to do to Pump? So that was my major light bulb that went off in my head when I came up with this concept, about 5 months ago. This is going to happen, and we're going to be the first, and everybody that comes after is going to benefit us.
Awesome. Very well put, guys. I mean, I'm excited for your project. I think you guys really did a good job of pumping it up in here.
Thank you.
I wish I had some more
The
questions for you.
pump puns, man. It's always about the pump puns, man.
I love the pump puns, dude. Hope you guys are taking advantage of those.
All day. Wait. Well, there's some things I can't say.
You're going to have to join our other groups to hear the other things we use pump for. Let's just put
Yeah,
it that.
that's right. Yes. Yes.
Will do. It sounds like you guys have a cool community too. So I'm really glad you guys were able to come up on here and speak to, the small but good community we have going on right here, and the first episode too. So very
Yeah,
much appreciate that.
inaugural. We started off with pump.
Awesome. Well,
Love that.
listen, thank you guys for hosting us. Thank you for giving us a platform here to talk about pump, and good luck with your channel as well.
Thanks. We'll be in touch. I'm already part of Pump, so I'm with you guys.
Excellent.
We
Excellent.
know the world will get the news as it happens.
Yes, it will. And like you said, you heard it here first. The first episode of the Bull and Bear Show.
Yep. A lot of firsts going on. Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. You have a good day.
All right, you guys too. Cool, guys. You guys want to get back into the market, or should we call it there for their first episode?
I've not got much I want to touch on. I'm going to go do a little bit more research into the pump team and their project there, of course. But Matt, do you have any news or updates you want to cover off?
All right. Is there anything anyone else wants to touch on? You guys have any questions about the market? About what's happening right now? I mean, I'm sure we all have some questions, about the market or about some trading or what's going on. But is there anything else anyone wants to touch on for this first episode? I feel like this was a good introductory to a little bit of what we're going to be doing and some of the AMAs we're going to have.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, no, there's not much that I want to cover off. I don't think anyone else has got their hand up in the audience at all. So awesome. I think it might be the penultimate end to the first episode, friend.
Awesome. Thanks for hosting it with me, DJ.
It's all right. No dramas, guys. We will be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. UTC, wherever that is locally for yourself. We'll get that scheduled up later on today. Feel free to come along. If you see a project that you like the looks of, you like to talk over, or just some updates on the market, hopefully we've had a bit of a correction by then.
Yeah, or a bit of a rally. We'll see what happens these next couple weeks.
Exactly that, man. Hey, but look, at the moment it's a flash sale. Maybe a good entry point. Who knows?
Could be. Yeah, I mean, you see, I'm sure, the last year no one saw this coming. Everyone thought we were going straight to 100K, straight to 250K. So now we got a little break to, hopefully get some good positions in on the market.
Exactly that. And as you said, always take those profits when you can, man.
Yeah, exactly. Always be taking profits, everyone. Unless you just got enough money to dime in hand for 10 years.
Yeah, no, I don't. Hey, anyway, that I think will conclude the first episode of Bull and Bears, and we will be back next Tuesday, guys. Thank you very much for coming along.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Much love. See you.